Is it on already?
No.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lexi Maxwell of the Texas A&M Forest Service, Public Information Officer. I'd like to thank you all for coming out and showing support for this incident and helping leverage the information that we're going to share with you today. Before we get started, I'd like to ask that everyone turn their cell phones to vibrate so we don't have to deal with that. Please hold all your questions to the end. We'll hopefully cover most of the content in the information we're sharing, but if anything is still on your radar that you'd like to ask, feel free to ask that afterwards. And the fire name, I need to address this up front. The official fire name is now the Hidden Pines Fire. There was a lot of confusion yesterday. We were calling it the Leaky Fire, but to streamline everything and consolidate all the information and make sure that there's no further confusion on that moving forward, it is now officially the Hidden Pines Fire. And I'm going to turn this over here to Mike Fisher. He's the Deputy Director of the Office of Emergency Management, and he's the incident commander on this fire. Mike?
Thank you, Lexi, and good morning. I want to just cover quickly some of the statistics that I have this morning from our briefing. We have grown this fire to about 375 acres, maybe a little bit more than that. We're going to have aircraft in the air in a few minutes and fly it out and get some accurate size up on it, and we'll get a map, and we can probably make that map available to you guys sometime later this morning. We're at about 50% containment as of right now. Made some good progress overnight, but we grew the size overnight. So what we're doing now with our crews is reinforcing the holding lines, widening dozer lines, and attacking some of the hot spots. We've have successfully so far defended all of the structures that were involved, especially the campus known as the UT MD Anderson Cancer Research Center. A very valuable investment from that organization, and a very valuable agency for Bastrop County. So I'm really pleased that we protected that. We've got several neighborhoods that have been evacuated, and they remain evacuated, and roads are closed for security purposes around those neighborhoods. We've got staff this morning working on a plan to re-enter those neighborhoods and to re-enter the Cancer Research Center so we can get people back into their normal lives and normal jobs as soon as it's safe to do so. I'm not going to be able to predict this morning when that will be, but I expect by early afternoon at least I'll be able to take a look at a plan for that re-entry and make some announcements. We'll get that out to you guys, and hopefully you'll help get that out to the people that we're out here working on for. I don't have to remind you that yesterday's forecast was true, and we had a very critical fire danger window that opened up about 11 yesterday morning and continued up on into the night. Today's weather is a little bit more forgiving than that, but our relative humidities are expected to be very low, and a change in the wind direction, so that's going to change our operation tactics through the morning somewhat, and our crews have been briefed and are going out to take care of those things. We do have a couple of Blackhawks from the state will be in the air probably within an hour and a half from now. We'll be using those for water drops to pick off some of these hot spots and start seeing if we can get full containment of this fire as soon as possible. I want to mention that we've had a tremendous partnership not only with local fire departments but with state firefighters from Texas Park and Wildlife and Texas Forest Service. From a law enforcement standpoint, our sheriff's office and all of their partners, Texas Highway Patrol, game wardens, LCRA rangers, and other law enforcement agencies have been out here throughout yesterday afternoon and throughout the night, and they're still here helping with our evacuees and security. So we think we're making good progress. I don't know if we'll have another update for you later on today. Our PIO folks will be working with that, but I'm hoping that by the end of the day we can say that we're on the downside of this Hidden Pines fire, which is about all I have right now. We'll take questions at the end, like Lexi said. I'd like to now bring County Judge Paul Poppy up and for some remarks from him.
Thank you, Mike. As those of you who've been around a while know, this is not our first rodeo when it comes to forest fires. And it's just great to have people like Mike and Forest Service and Parks and Wildlife, wonderful resources available to us here in Bastrop County as we deal with these incidents. We're so grateful for the weather conditions overnight and this morning, but we know that there are changes on the way. We've asked our firefighters to be especially aware of that and not get caught unaware of the situation, but always be mindful of changing conditions. We've also asked the citizens of Bastrop County to respect the firefighters and those who are putting themselves in harm's way to deal with this fire. The safe thing to do is stay back and stay away. Let the professionals handle it, and we will get this fire taken care of just as soon as possible. Our objectives are safety for the firefighters and the emergency crews, and then protecting of human life that may be in danger, and then finally protection of property. All those things are our main objectives, and we're continuing to pursue them. I want to introduce now Senator Kirk Watson, and then following him will be Representative John Cyrier. These gentlemen were with us 4 years ago, and they have always stood beside us and behind us. And part of the reason, as Mr. Fisher mentioned a while ago, part of the reason we haven't had much greater loss in this fire is because of some fire mitigation work that was done out around the science park that allowed us to defend that science park as this forest fire moved across it. That is work that is priceless. And I just want to thank the state for the support they've given us and their continued support. I want to ask Senator Watson to come and say a few words, and following him, Representative Cyrier. Senator?
Great. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Well, I appreciate that, and Mr. Fisher, thank you. And frankly, I want to start by saying thanks to all of the people that are doing what they're doing to save human life, save property. There are a lot of people that are putting themselves at risk, and I want to say God bless them and thank you. The only thing I want to add is I want to talk a little bit, just very little bit, about what the judge just mentioned. Because, as he pointed out, this isn't the first time we've faced this sort of problem in Bastrop County. But from that, we can learn some lessons about where we go forward. And a really important highlight, or a very important story in this, is that because of proactive activity to mitigate potential damage, we have saved a very expensive, very valuable facility in Bastrop County, and that is the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center. Money was put up, that state money that matched federal money, so that what we were able to do is what is referred to as fuels mitigation. And what that means is that you're able to go in and take out some of the things that would fuel a fire. And by doing that, it creates a better defensible position if a fire is moving toward a facility like that cancer center. The point I want to make is that that ends up saving money. By us making an investment in mitigation issues, in fuels mitigation, we potentially save money and save life. The truth is that we're not done. there is more that can be done in terms of fuels mitigation and mitigating future danger. The point and the story is that it worked. It has shown us, it was a defensible position, and it has shown us that it does work. So if we want to save money in life, we can make investment now that will be that will protect us. So I want to again say thank you to everybody. I'm very pleased that a good job was done on that sort of mitigation because it's made a difference. And I think it's something that we at the state ought to highlight, and we ought to make sure that as we're looking at budgets, we are not penny wise and pound foolish when it comes to preventing damage and preventing and saving lives. So thank you all. Representative Syria.
Thanks, everyone. Sure. Good morning. It's a beautiful day. Of course, it'd be more beautiful if we had some rain right now. But, 4 years ago, I was out here, we're with Bastrop County and Caldwell County on the Bastrop complex fires. And I'm afraid this community has gone through so much, and the emergency management group and the resources have experienced with the Memorial Day floods, and then this last 2 days of having to fight these fires. But it isn't over yet. And one of the experiences that I've seen and what we're seeing right now is that the communication level and all the resources coming together and being able to communicate so much better. And it was those investments that Senator Watson had mentioned with the mitigation of fuels, but also too with our radio systems and our communication level. So very thankful. I know that we have got the best emergency management group in the state of Texas here working on this, and we're so fortunate for the leadership of Bastrop County and the surrounding communities that have pulled together and to be able to fight this fire. Appreciate everybody coming together, and appreciate y'all's time. Thank you.
Thank you, John. We have Sheriff Pickering with us this morning and some of his staff. Commissioner Clara Beckett is here from Precinct 2. Robert Tamel is here with the City of Smithfield, and others from the State Parks Department and Fish and Wildlife. So we would entertain questions now, and if you'll take, let me get your attention and ask the question, and we'll repeat it for everybody, and then find the appropriate person to try to answer. Does anyone have a question? Yes, Jillian.
Can you let us know which neighborhoods were evacuated and an approximate number of how many people were evacuated?
Okay, Mr. Fisher, would you like to try to deal with that?
The neighborhoods that were evacuated are those that are along Old Antioch Road, along Ann Powell, and the KLBJ Road area. Total number of persons, we don't have an exact count, but I would think probably about 20 families. It turns out that when our law enforcement folks moved into those neighborhoods to evacuate upon our orders to do so, a lot of those families had already evacuated their homes and left. So I can report that we don't have any